If you move into the garden, towards the corner where the red brick wall and the gray cement wall meet, you should be able to see a decaying large tree. It's a peepal tree. Um, do you see it? It's always been here. It's as old as this house, and this house is pretty old because my father grew up in it, and then we grew up in it. This tree is practically part of the family, and we've always believed that it's been possessed by a good natured jinn. But since it's been decaying, we've believed that the jinn has moved away. Um, but it used to be incredibly lush, and it used to throw a shadow over the garden and drop leaves. It was just really beautiful. But towards the opposite end of the garden from this tree, you should be able to see a swinging bench inside a steel frame. That bench was originally inside the house but transferred outside later. And I remember I once had a big fight with my mom, and I was just sitting here and crying, and my dad came and consoled me. And a lot of other important conversations have taken place here. But to the right from the bench, you should be able to see the gate, which has always been open as long as I can remember. We only shut it at night because my parents believe that we're protected by God regardless. You should also be able to see a white window, a tall window with tinted glass. There should be pots in front of it. Do you see it? You can't see inside, but people inside can see outside. But this window is basically where we used to originally have our main door to the house, before it was transferred right next to it. The house has been in constant flux over the years. It's always been changed, just because it's been inhabited by so many different people with so many different desires. The map has always been changing to meet different needs, and things have been recycled here and there. You should also be able to see patchy tile work. Do you see it? This house is a constant record of different times. And there's a porch right next to it with a bench and a large window, and pots and plants. Do you see them? I on my laziest days I just hang out near that window, either inside or outside, just because it's nice when the sun is pouring in. And generally this porch is my mother's project. She keeps bringing in things from the nursery, trying to make it green. But generally, I suppose the weather doesn't allow, or something, or this garden doesn't allow for green things to grow in to grow well. But you should be able to see a small pigeon. It's very oddly placed, but it's always been there, and it's always been very alone. um, do you see it? And if you move to your right from the porch, there are more pots that lead to this path behind the house. There should be a clothesline, and there's also a wall that borders a neighboring garden. That wall has been a source of conflict because it's encroaching on the neighboring land. But our neighbors have always been very generous about it, so it's never come up too much. But you should be able to see hanging plants from the parking area. These used to be much thicker, but they've been thinning over the years. I remember they used to be so thick they would form a curtain that we'd have to pass through. Do you see them?